Okay, today we're doing another stereo or head unit installation with a Seicane radio. Just got this in. It's for my other son's car. God, I got too many kids with too many cars. This is the car multimedia system from Secane. I believe it's got built-in Android, what do you call it, Apple AirPlay or Apple blah 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 blah, Apple radio and Android. It has GPS, there's the GPS antenna, all the necessary wiring. This car does have an amp in it, so there's going to be amplifier outs there. Those RCA cables are going to be the amp outs. And this is the stereo that's in it right now. It is a Pioneer. It's about 5 years old and it regularly just dies. Right now, of course, it's working. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to set this up on a tripod, and we're going to take this unit out of the dash. This unit that has come from Secane is a complete replacement for this whole dash piece and the head unit itself. So none of this trim piece is going to be necessary. So we're going to have to remove it, and that just involves popping the vents off, taking a few screws out, and pulling it out. Back in a second once I get this all set up. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is remove this vent on the top. Very simple. I've got a trim removal tool. You can use a popsicle stick, use a screwdriver if you're careful. If you're using a flat-headed screwdriver, just put some tape or something around the end so you don't mar things. These soft, semi-soft touch plastics are easy to mar. So I'm just going to stick this under. Oh, this one's nice and easy. And it should have two little clips. One and two. Yeah, right there. 1, 2. This vent pops up and out of the way. And on the top, so there's 2 screws. 1, 2 Phillips. I don't know if there's anything on the bottom. I don't think there is. I don't believe there is. Let's push this deck out of its mount just in case, because I'm not 100% sure whether there's another mounting screw down here. I don't believe there is. Let's pop this out. Okay, Pioneer, how do you come out? It should be little release tabs on the side. I might need a credit card or something to slide between there and release those 2 clips. Actually, I'm just going to take those 2 screws out first and see if it'll pop out. Their Phillips head. One. Two. It feels like it's just going to pop out. Yeah, there we go. And now we have the great spaghetti monster behind the dash. Anything? Well, yeah, we have a couple that are non-factory wires. Okay, let me go through this, figure out what's what. I'm going to unplug everything. These are generally pretty universal. Like most of the major plugs are universal, and they're going to be the ones that come with the kit. The RCA ones are going back to that amp, and there should be a trigger for the amp. So back in a second. Okay, so unhooking the non-stock stereo, we've got the antenna. I'm going to pop that out. I'm sure there's an adapter that comes from with the kit, but this is in there already. This should be GPS. I believe that's GPS. So this is the subwoofer. The RCA cables for subwoofer and a backup camera, rear view camera. So let's unhook that rear view camera. Subwoofer left and right. Okay, this should be the main wiring loom for the main speaker wiring. There's a reverse gear input on there. A USB, so there must be an auxiliary USB in this car somewhere. I don't know, it's my kid's car. And this is just the unhook for the doesn't matter because this is just the original stuff. This doesn't, we don't even need this, to be honest. So let's get rid of that. Take a look at what we've got here. So again, we've got a backup camera. No power for the backup camera. This is antenna. Now, why is that wired that way? Must be a Mazda thing. There we've got the subwoofer, the USB, and main wiring. So I believe we're gonna have to unhook this, the main wiring harness. Let's get the Seicane stuff, and we'll match everything up back in one sec. Okay, I think we've got everything basically figured out. This is the antenna, and then this is, apparently Mazda's got some, I don't know what this is. It must be a boosted antenna, but this goes back to the original Mazda wiring harness in here somewhere. It was just, apparently just taped to neaten everything up to these subwoofer inputs. So I've got to cut that. Care about the original wiring. This knife isn't very sharp. Okay, back in 1 second. Okay, so I had to come back the next day because I was just losing light and eliminating a few of these wires that are in there. This is a someone ingeniously wired up a parking brake defeat for the original stereo, because the original stereo required, if you wanted to watch a DVD, the parking brake to be on. So someone wired up a parking brake defeat, a little switch I found under the dashboard, that would defeat that if you wanted to. So that's going bye-bye, all that wiring. Yank that out. And these were attached, these two greens were attached to the parking brake from the original. So those are not needed. The only one needed from the original wiring harness that is not a plug and play is the amplifier trigger. So this triggers the amplifier in the back to come on. Like I said, there is an amplifier and subwoofer in the back, and so that triggers those. Secane sends you a great, I don't know where I put it. They send you these thingies that are just, you just take a picture with your camera. Obviously it's a QR code, and it goes to the wiring diagrams and stuff, which is really cool online. So we can figure out what is what, and so we can go through here and check all these wiring codes. This comes with it, but you can also check it online. The manual is online, and then there's a, just a rudimentary manual. Most of us can figure this stuff out on our own. So anyway, I'm going to clean up some of this wiring a little bit, keep what I need, get rid of what I don't need. There was another plug in there. I pulled it out just as I was leaving yesterday. It was a microphone for the original stereo. For the Pioneer stereo, it was a plug-in mic. I thought it was a GPS. It was not. So we're going to be a GPS. I'm going to put it up under here. Oop, I don't think you can see that. I'm going to mount the GPS up above this vent. It does not have to be. GPS can see through plastic. This isn't 30 years ago where stuff had to be up in the dash in order to be seen. So this little GPS antenna, little square one, it's got a sticky back, and we can put that up above this vent in here, and it'll be in nothing's way, and just bring the wiring back down to the back of the stereo. Again, this is a mechless deck, so it is not 8 inches deep like the old one. Let me show you this. I don't know if I pulled this out of the box to show you yet. I think I did. Maybe I didn't. So this is the unit that's going to plug in. Am I upside down? I'm up. No, I'm not. This is the unit that's just going to pop into the dash, and that's how deep it is. and this is what it's replacing. So you can see the difference in depth and how much space is going to be left back here. So cleaning up the wiring, you don't have to clean it up all that much. I mean, it's always good to clean up your wiring, but you don't have to go nuts because you're not fighting for space back here. It's all gonna fit. So I've got that off. I'm just gonna pop the GPS antenna on. I'm gonna stick it up here and then we'll be back in a sec. Okay, so the GPS antenna is right there. Hopefully you can see it. Let's zoom in on that a little bit. Can we? Just sitting above that vent opening, which is fine. The vent just kind of goes and pushes on the outside. It just touches the edges of here and seals. It doesn't go above, it doesn't go below. There's nothing. This is in the way of nothing. Here's the GPS antenna wire. I am going to be running this USB into the glove box. He can figure out later where he wants it if he doesn't want the glove box. I don't think he's using USB much anyway. So now the next thing to do is unhook this original wiring bundle and get the hell rid of it. We've got these two trigger... Oh, I've got a pink wire there that I don't know what that is. There's one I'm missing. Oh, let me find out what that is and be back in a sec. Oh, that was easy enough. It's the reverse camera. So I'm going to snip that. The red wire going into the back, I believe, is power for the backup camera. Since this one does not have power, and this one has not been crimped, this is backup camera here. That's the video in, so I'm assuming this is power for the backup camera. That's the only other thing it could be, because this is going to the amp, and the amp itself is hardwired in. So there's nothing else this could be other than backup camera wire. Although I don't know why. Don't know why they would have wired it that way. But it's hooked into the red in this wiring harness, which is the keyed power, not constant. Yellow is constant, red is keyed power. So I'm assuming that's what that is. So we're going to unhook this and get all this old wiring out and be back in a sec. Go ahead. Okay, so the only wiring connection I'm going to actually have to do is the amp trigger wire. That is it, because everything else is built into the Secane system, the Secane plugin. It has the reverse trigger. Everything else is built into it, which is really, really nice. Oops. And I'm using a shrink and solder connection. Yeah. Which I didn't twist very well. So a shrink and solder, if you don't know, they've got solder in the middle. They've got two little glue spots. So it will automatically, once you heat it up, it's going to solder the wires together and then glue them and seal moisture and everything else out and keep the wires from being able to pull apart. So you just kind of generally twist them together and then center the wires. Yeah, come on, go in there. Center the wires where they're twisted over top of the, or underneath the solder. Hopefully you can see that right there. That's centered under the solder. I'm going to use a lighter. You can use a heat gun or whatever. Just don't hold the lighter constantly under it. Just kind of wave it around so you're not setting it on fire. You just want to nicely melt until you see the solder. You'll see the solder start flowing. Just kind of apply the heat from all directions. Don't hold it in one spot. I'm trying to hold that so you guys can see it. Hopefully I'm not in your way. And the solder will start flowing once it warms up enough. Don't heat the crap out of it. These things are, yeah. This lighter is not great. Okay, and I can see from the silver around it that the solder is melted. And then these two little red spots have melted, the glue. So that's a good strong connection. So that's it for connecting. So I'm going to take the new deck, stereo head unit, whatever you want to call it. This plug, this is the auxiliary in and auxiliary out for the amplifier. The blue was the trigger wire for the amplifier. The amplifier is already hardwired to the car. Each one of these things only plugs into one spot. Hopefully you can see that there. That's the big one. I should have left and right out. Out. Video out. Nope. CVB in. That's for like a PlayStation. Auxiliary right in. No. Left in. No. So it's these two. Left out, right out. So left out was the darker one, and right out was this one. So we've got the trigger, that's done. Camera. The nice thing about this is you do not have to run power or the trigger wire for the backup camera, because that's already wired into the system. So I'm going to take the big Seicane connector that connects right into your factory wiring harness, plugs in. This is the antenna, factory antenna. It only goes in one way, plugs in. This is going to be the decoder for Mazda. This is going to know that it's in reverse for a Mazda. It also will help you if you've got steering wheel buttons. This will help you program the steering wheel buttons. We don't, so it doesn't matter, but this is going to trigger the reverse light. Now all we got left is antenna, this, and backup camera. Backup camera, where is the plug? I had it. Oh, GPS. That merely screws in on the back. A little screw-in connection. Trying to keep out of your way. Okay. What was I looking for? The backup camera. I did have it sitting here somewhere. Let me find it. Be back in 1 second. Okay, found the reverse camera. So that's camera in. It says camera in on it, and it's a separate plug. Again, it can only go into one spot. They all only fit into one position. And that's this one here on the far right or left, depending on what side you've got it on. And we've got one more. We've got the main plug. The big black one right here. And antenna comes in over here. It's a little tight. I have to loosen some of that wiring. Oh no, it's fine. And oh, USB. There's a USB plug. This is going in the back. One place only it can go. It's the tiniest one. Right there. And then we'll feed this out somewhere later in the future. All this wiring, you can neaten it up, do whatever you want with it, but for now we're not going to. I'm just going to stick it in, and that will slide in. Okay, and we're not going to touch that for now. And let's see if we got some power. Hook this up to a phone and be back in a sec. Okay, so we're on. We'll go to radio.
12 until 4, both Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I can't leave this on too long because I can't be broadcasting, but the amp is working and the subwoofer is working.
At Simon McGizzle, Facebook and Twitter at Simon DMC. Hit me up, give me a like, give me a follow.
Boy, everything is working. You've got a million different apps. You've got Apple CarPlay, Android auto, I guess it's called. Bluetooth music, everything else. There's the set. There's the pin number to set it. It'll show up on your phone, automatically connect. Everyone knows how to do this stuff. Different wallpapers. No photos in there, so you grab a photo off your phone, use it as a wallpaper. Settings, of course, I'm not going to go through all this crap. This is hours and hours of going through and checking all this stuff if you want to. There's the navigation for the GPS. This has just got to load the first time. It's going to take a second. Pongo. Okay, and it's found us. That is where we are. Okay. And again, GPS settings have to be set and everything as well. But that is the correct area. So anyway, all that's left to do is throw that vent back on, which is simple. It just pops back in, and that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Seicane.com. I'm going to leave a link in the description to this unit itself for the Mazda 3, and I'm also going to leave a link for Secane itself. And go on there, you're going to find tons of crap that will interest you. Lots of good stuff. Oh, there's one thing. Oh, what didn't I hook up? There's one more thing I didn't hook up. Oh, there was a second USB. 2 USBs. Okay, so anyway, thanks for watching. Okay, and this is it all said and done. Little sticker, I'll leave that for him. The little peely off. It's always more fun to do it for someone else. I'll let them do it. Anyway, thanks for watching.